Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel where we discuss everything related to investing. Warren Buffett criticized a group of people in his latest letter to shareholders. He said these people are either an economic illiterate or a silver-tongued demagogue, and the two roles are not mutually exclusive. He is implying these people are either stupid or evil, or both stupid and evil. These are the people who are against stock buybacks. Some people say that management has been using buybacks to seek personal gains, while others say that the bull market of the past decade was a false impression created by buybacks, which laid the groundwork for potential bubbles to burst. What risks have stock buybacks brought to the stock market? Why has the long-lasting practice of stock buybacks suddenly encountered a crisis? Are these people, as Buffett said, just stupid and evil? In this video, we will talk about stock buybacks. Stock buyback, also known as share repurchase, refers to a process where a publicly traded company purchases its own shares from the market, using its own cash reserves. This reduces the number of outstanding shares, which in turn increases the ownership stake of the remaining shareholders. If the total value of a company remains unchanged, a decrease in the number of outstanding shares would increase the value of each share. As a result, the shareholders who previously owned the shares would be happy because their shares are now more valuable. Have you noticed that this behavior seems to be similar to the practice of paying dividends to shareholders? Paying dividends is a way for companies to directly return the cash earned to shareholders, while stock buybacks are a way for companies to increase the value of shareholders' shares by using the earned cash. Essentially, these two practices are completely the same, and they are just different ways for companies to return value to their shareholders. In a 2018 research by the SEC, it was found that it is very common for company management to sell stocks after announcing a buyback. The following chart shows the situation of management selling stocks before and after announcing a buyback. The left half shows the value of stocks sold by company management before the announcement of the buyback, and the right half shows the value of stocks sold after the announcement of the buyback. As can be seen, there were not many instances of management selling stocks before the buyback was announced, but once the news was released, there was a sharp increase, which was more than 10 times that before the buyback. Clearly, management is indeed using buybacks to seek personal gain, and the SEC also found that nearly half of the company's executives have engaged in such behavior. Stock buybacks not only support stock prices, but also affect the company performance. So, why is it said that stock buybacks will affect company performance? One of the most important financial indicators that Wall Street cares about is EPS, earnings per share. The performance of management in the U.S. stock market is often linked to this EPS. The calculation of EPS is not complicated. It is the company's total earnings divided by the number of outstanding shares. Stock buybacks are essentially the company buying back its own outstanding shares in the market and then canceling them. This reduces the total number of outstanding shares, which means that the denominator of EPS is reduced. Therefore, even if the earnings do not change, the EPS will increase. For management, it is difficult to improve earnings, so they have to figure out a way to make money. However, reducing the number of outstanding shares is much easier. As long as the company continues to buy back its own shares, the EPS will continue to improve. Stock buybacks have become a universal formula for management. As long as they continue to buy back shares, management can continue to make money by relying on EPS performance. However, if all stock buybacks can do is manipulate EPS, then Warren Buffett won't be as supportive of stock buybacks. So, what does stock buybacks can benefit existing shareholders? Earlier we mentioned that both stock buybacks and dividends are ways of returning value to shareholders. However, although these two methods are essentially the same, stock buybacks have clearly become a more popular form. As we can see from the chart below, the proportion of company dividends to total assets has remained between 1.5% and 2% for the past 30 years, with little change. But the proportion of buybacks has increased from less than 1% 30 years ago to over 4% today. I'm sure this gap will continue to widen. So why is buyback more popular than dividends, even though they both return value to shareholders? This is because buybacks have some irresistible benefits for management and shareholders. Firstly, stock buybacks are more flexible. Dividends are a commitment for the company, and it's hard to take back once they are announced. If a company wants to reduce dividends or temporarily decides not to pay dividends, it will have a very negative impact on the stock price. However, returning value to shareholders through stock buybacks is different. When the company has more money, it can buy back more, and when the company has less money, it can buy back less or even not at all. This will have an impact on the stock price, but not too much. Even the company can do buybacks quietly first and then announce it publicly. So, buybacks are more flexible, and investors tend not to react too negatively. The second advantage is the tax benefit. Both dividends and buybacks are ways of returning value to shareholders. However, if dividends are paid, shareholders have to pay taxes on the money received. If it is a buyback, shareholders benefit from the increase in the stock price, which is an increase in assets. In many countries, asset appreciation is not taxed if you do not cash out. Even if you do cash out, the capital gains tax is cheaper than the income tax, and some countries do not even have a value-added tax. Therefore, buybacks can provide shareholders with more tax savings and even help them avoid taxes. This is a good thing for management and shareholders. However, U.S. government is not happy about that, because it means government have less revenue. Therefore, the Biden administration has recently put a tax evasion label on stock buybacks. The Biden administration has just enacted a law requiring an additional 1% tax on all stock buybacks, and even plans to increase it to 4% in the future. It is precisely this move by the U.S. government that has angered Warren Buffett. He strongly stated that taxing buybacks is double taxation, as the cash that a company retains is what remains after paying corporate taxes once. It is unreasonable to return value to shareholders with after-tax profits and then impose taxes again. If you have other opinions, let's comment below. Please help to like and subscribe.